and welcome to Solid Ground. I think this is like the 75th or 76th episode. We're trucking along. But good morning to you all. As people will know, this is a live show, and really importantly, for those who are viewing this across an array of platforms, if you go onto Family First YouTube or Facebook channels, messages you send come directly to me here in the studio. And not only is that an opportunity for you to comment on what I'm discussing this morning, but if there are any questions or thoughts that you have on anything, hit me up. I'll do my best to try and answer them. In fact, I see one here from Edmund actually around debanking of all things. And so after this, Edmund, I'll follow up. I won't be able to talk after the show as such, because partly I can't stay on here, but long and short, I will flick you an email and we can have a little bit of a chat. So as always, a lot to discuss on this wet, cold day. I'm just calling up the wonderful, here we go, because I always want to say good morning to people. We've got Lynette, good morning to you. Lovely to have you along. As I said, we've got so many people. Good morning to Catherine. Lovely to have you along. Michael, good morning to you as well. We've got Nigel there, another familiar face. Good morning to Dean. Hello, hello. There's Edmund. As I say, I'll follow up afterwards. I'll get onto YouTube and let you know how to get in contact with me. We've got Jackie as well. Good morning to you. Telling me it's rather wet there in Reitihi. Well, it's wet here as well. Dee Dee saying good morning to everyone in the grinders. I think that's a very clever double entendre on the fact of solid ground and coffee, which is fantastic. I always love one of those. Darren's confirming exactly what it's like here today. It is bucketing with rain once again. Got Peter there is telling us a bit of snow down in Queenstown. That's remarkable in itself, and I think Jackie's saying she's hoping she gets some of that as well. I must say I'm over the rain here. My garden is... Sorry, I'm just watching my stepdaughter actually going up the driveway, and poor her, the umbrella's just blown inside out. Good morning to Chris there in Napier. Lovely to have you along. Linda, good morning. Lovely to have you with us here. We've got Muddy Waters as well. He's down there in the deep south as well. Good morning. We've got Viv there in Taurua. Lovely to have you along too. Fantastic. Okay, I'm being told the sound is... How about this? I'm going to try and pump up the sound. Let's see if that works any better, guys. There we go. Anyway, good morning. Hopefully that is better. If not, let me know. So, as I say, lots of stuff to discuss this morning. But one thing I thought I would share, because he put it out publicly, is this, I think, wonderful news. I've got a better photo. This is Simeon Brown, so he's our Minister of Health, and he and his wife Rebecca have just had baby number 4. And there we go, this is a better photo for you. So I just thought this was lovely news. Good friends of Simeon and Rebecca. And so he put this on social media, so I'm not sharing anything untoward or unbecoming. So he is, thank you to Peter, he's telling me the audio is better. Just had to turn a few dials. So anyway, baby number 4, and there's the whole family there. And so I just think that's quite lovely. And Peter is the name of the little boy. So congratulations to Simeon and to Rebecca and to all the family. I just think it is just lovely and quite wonderful. So yes, congratulations to them. You would have seen at the start, of course, we've got the forum on the family coming up. Very important in and of itself. And one thing I want to talk to is actually about a guest who's going to be coming on, not this week, but 2 weeks from now. We're only 2 weeks away. It's remarkable. But I want to quickly comment on this guest. I'm just going to introduce her by video and then comment about what's happening.
Hi, I'm Kirralie Smith from binary.org.au, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you at Forum on the Family 2025.
There we go. So Kirralie is going to be at the forum. Long and short, she's a mum from Queensland. And what's got her into trouble in Australia, and of course she will talk about this more, is she dared to identify a biological male as, yes, a biological male in a sports team. So as a mum, she wasn't happy that this man was playing in a girls' sports team and called him out for it. Well, that's got her into a whole lot of hot water, including she's had a court case recently, which sadly she's lost, and again she will talk about this in much greater detail. She's talking on the Thursday evening. So our forum runs from Thursday evening with two of our guest speakers, so Kirralie and Amanda. But there'll also be more, obviously, guest speakers on the Friday. But she's going to be talking about how simply identifying a biological male as a male has led to her being dragged in front of the courts and basically attempted to be silenced. It's quite remarkable. She had appealed this order, not even a protection order. I don't know the exact in and outs of Australian law, but she tried to appeal and was told no, because according to Australia, or certainly there in Queensland, using the wrong pronouns for someone, identifying a male as a male and a female as a female, is an act of violence. And Kirralie did a great tweet about this. She said, the very same people who believe they can change the definition of a woman can also change the definition of violence. And so many of us will see that in the narratives here in New Zealand from particularly the far left, the woke, and others, that the old adage, sticks and stones may break my bones, etc., etc., has all changed. Now looking at someone the wrong way, using the wrong pronouns, not bowing down to the new dogmatic cults, gets you into enormous trouble because they're acts of violence, akin to actually physically hitting someone. I mean, that's how nuts things have got. So anyway, just really quite terrible. And as Foo Dogs Trucking is saying, good morning to you, it is nuts. So as I say, come along and hear from Kirralie. She is amazing. And she'll be talking to us on the Thursday night, which is great. And you can have some burgers and that beforehand. So you've got about a week to go. Speaking of the far left, the radicals and the nutters, where is it when I need it? Oh, yes. This was Sydney, I think, or maybe it was, Melbourne. This was Melbourne on the weekend. This is your left or progressive or woke brigade. In this case, it's probably some sort of offshoot of Antifa. They were protesting women who want to talk about being women. So a little bit akin to what happened in Albert Park. But why I thought I'd show you this is the dangerous side of the politics that is being well supported and fomented here in New Zealand as well. And these people, all clad in black and who attacked police, these are the same groups and people in New Zealand who, in any sense, don't hold a mirror up to themselves. They're the people who run around screaming about racism, violence, misogyny, patriarchy, hierarchy, anyone they disagree with as some type of phobe. The ones who talk about inclusivity, diversity, tolerance. They talk about pride, they talk about human rights. They'll be at the Palestine or pro-Hamas protests. They're all the same groups of people. They cry about fascism, they talk about violence in society. The sad reality is they are the ones of all those things, which is quite tragic. So they accuse just about all and everybody else of certain behaviours, but they're really just projecting themselves onto others. So as I say, I don't know who these particular people are, but they will think of themselves as the wonderfully tolerant, progressive left, bringing harmony to everyone, and yet here they are, dressed in black, hiding their faces behind masks and calling for the death of women. That's what they're saying there at the top, and death to Australia because they hate their own countries. Of course, they love all the freedoms of this country. They'll have all their iPhones and their latest sneakers and all the other bits and bobs, but they want to destroy it. So I suppose it's the hypocrisy, the irony, whatever the right word is, probably hypocrisy of these people. And you should apply the same standard here into New Zealand, that not in all and every case, but just about any time you hear, particularly on the progressive sides, talking about tolerance, and we've talked about this before, you know they're not tolerant of anyone but their own views. When they yell and scream about fascism, they're really talking about themselves. They are the thugs inducing violence. And you see the media play along with this, including at this Melbourne rally, because as I say, there was a small group of women who gathered to talk about, being women. These guys turned up trying to disrupt. Again, nothing constructive, just destructive. So whistles, loud hailers, anything they could do to shut down people having a discussion. Again, in the name of inclusivity from these lunatics. Anything to shut down the debate. But the media played along with it, because when you read the headlines, there were 4 arrests and multiple police hurt in violence. And the violence all came from not just these guys, but the wider pro-trans lobby, aggressive, bullying males, by and large, which again is, underlines the whole issue that we've got in the trans space. But the media, the way they report it, is very ambiguous about who the 4 people were arrested, sort of implying that it could well have been the women talking about being women, which was not the case. They were peaceful, they were quiet. We had people we knew there, by the way, so this is not just coming through the media, it was people actually there. So the media, certainly the Australian media, the way they reported it, there were these rallies of the women's groups and these pro-trans groups, and there was all this violence and 4 were arrested. Well, that's only the half-truth, because the violence was from the pro-trans or the LGBTQI plus lobby, and the rest were only from that side, not from the women. But again, that's just the little tricks, the ambiguities which the media deliberately play on. So absolutely terrible. And as Catherine says, what will their mothers think? And also, I think as Jackie there, they hide their faces. They always do. So they're very quick to what they call dox anyone that they don't like. So again, the leftists, progressives, woke, whatever we want to call them, very quick to call anybody out that they don't like. They'll publish their names, they'll publish their phone numbers, but they, the little cowards, hide behind their mask. Again, they are the very thing that they talk about in others. And Foo Dogs Trucking's right, they've contributed nothing, but I think this is a problem with anyone who's particularly zealous or particularly revolutionary. They just want to destroy. And, I probably belaboured the point as I often do, but I think we have to be very careful in society that these are the people amongst us here in New Zealand as well. And again, we don't have to panic. Certainly don't need to panic. That's not the way forward. But these are very destructive people and ideology. And you're seeing it on a relatively regular basis now. Attempts to shut down any... Dean's given us some suggestions of what we might call them. I won't put it on the screen, but I love it. They're the ones who try to shut down discussion. They're the ones who try to storm meetings and events which people are holding. And they're the ones who, acts of violence, intimidation. Just go and look at a lot of the pro-Palestinian protests. Again, aggressive, and a funny fusion of basically people who hate this society. As I mentioned earlier, more than happy, like these guys, to take public transport and their Ubers with their Nike trainers or their Doc Marten boots and their cell phones and their computers and all of that. All the benefits which the West have created, but they want to destroy it. I mean, good Lord. Basically, I sit with those people here and around the globe. If you don't like our countries, then you can bugger off, basically. It's as simple as that. So very, very sad. And it all links into, elements like this as well, which we're seeing. This is also coming out of Australia at the moment, which is why it's going to be so good having Kirralie over here. We're also going to have Dawn Hawkins. She's from the United States, talking about child exploitation. But this is happening in the state of Victoria right now, where they're teaching kids as young as 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 15, not 25, 5-year-old kids, that they could be in the wrong body. I mean, what an absolutely terrible thing to be saying to little children at that age, that there's something wrong with them. It wouldn't matter what it was, but you do not go and tell children of 5 years old or 4 or 6 that there is something wrong with them. They are loved, they are valuable as they are. But in the state of Victoria, with their far left premier, or their Prime Minister of the state of Victoria, Jacinta Allen, is saying to 5-year-olds, you could be in the wrong body. I mean, what a great way to increase the anxiety, confusion in kids. But sadly, as Andromeda has put up, it is absolutely insane. But it is all part of, well, I'm not even sure what the right word is to describe it. You guys might have them. But, I mean, basically they're trying to put these kids onto the transgender pipeline. It's not my phrase, I've borrowed it from someone else, but what that means is they try to basically stuff these kids' lives up as young as they can, because they'll start to socially transition the child. So little Johnny now can think he's Mary. The teachers will use all sorts of different pronouns, and then very quickly they'll put them onto puberty blockers. And what we know is it's a conveyor belt or a pipeline. They'll always say to you, these trans lobbyists, well, it's really just about affirming the child and they can make choices to stay on them or not. But what we know from the evidence is it isn't really about a choice. They get stuck into a pipeline. Like we had last year at the forum, we had Chloe Cole, one of the detransitioners. Once you're on, it's very hard to get off. And so again, there's something pretty disgusting going on here. It's not just in Australia. There's always a big push here. But you've got to also ask the question, why are the adults so intent on focusing on these little children? And I think the answers can be quite disturbing when you think about it. In fact, I've got a really good interview coming up with Sam Sorbo. She's from the United States. You might go, I've heard that name, Sorbo. She's the wife of Kevin Sorbo. Kevin, myself and Rachel met at ARC in London, and then have made contact with Sam since then. So we talk a lot about, in fact, homeschooling, the importance of homeschooling, but we also talk a lot about why there seems to be this very intentional focus for the trans lobby and others and the far left onto children. And here's just an example of it. Why on earth would you be telling 5-year-olds there's something wrong with their body, but deliberately then going to be making sure these guys and girls go onto puberty blockers, then they'll go onto what they call cross-sex hormones, and eventually mutilating treatments. I mean, it's just god-awful. So absolutely awful that you'd be saying this to kids. And by the way, these people who run these programs will be the first to say you never tell a child off for any of their behaviours. You just have to be kind and affirming. But when it comes to your biological sex, oh no, we can teach you all sorts of confusions. Again, it's just very, very disturbing. And, Catherine's asking, why do the teachers go along with it? I think a lot are probably compelled. Others think it's probably a great idea. I think the encouragement just has to remain to people. If you're a parent, please just make very sure what's happening in your own school here in New Zealand. I mean, Rachel and I have had some small, limited examples, the teaching of the stepkids of what was being told to them. And, one of the things we've always done, I mean, the kids in inverted commas now are no longer at school. But when they were, it was asking them, what are you being taught? And not just when it's in their relationships and sexuality education, but in everything else. Because unfortunately, there are some teachers out there who are just completely off the planet. In fact, you could add any career there. God, there are politicians who are completely off the planet. But you've really just got to keep engaged. Andrew Media saying, Kevin, Sorbo, Sorbo. So he played Hercules. He's the American actor who played Hercules here in New Zealand, along with, Xena? It was an offshoot of his Xena Warrior Princess with old Lucy Lawless, who just lives up the road. So anyway, I just think there's some great interviews coming. I'm going to wrap it up there because I've got, yes, Andrew, you're going to have to look it up. I never watched the series, but actually I knew Lucy, as in Lawless, quite well when I was the MP. She lived just up the road. She's more on the green side of politics, and I'm not. So we had some fascinating discussions. Speaking of fascinating discussions, we've got no shortage of great content on Family First. In fact, I'm going to play this and start wrapping up when I can never find things on here. Here we go.
Family First is bringing you conservative conversations, commentary and content. And now you can access these important discussions in the format that you prefer. Watch, read, listen. You can watch our content on our website, familyfirst.nz. Simply click on the Watch tab and you'll see all our various programs that you can view. You can also watch these across our social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, TikTok, Threads and Blue Sky. Everywhere. If you'd prefer to listen while you go about your daily activities or are travelling in a vehicle, then click on the Listen tab and the latest content is there for you to listen to. You can also find us on Spotify under Family First NZ. And if you prefer to read our commentary, then click on the Read tab. We're increasing the frequency of our written commentary, focusing on the latest research and analysing the current news events which are relevant to families and society. We provide the insight and context which you won't get from the mainstream media. We're also now adding the full scripts of Family Matters and McBlog under the video link in our website, and also written summaries on our live stream shows so that you can read and digest the material at your own pace. Consume our conservative conversations in the way that best suits you. Watch, read, listen. Go to familyfirst.nz and join the conversation.
So lots of things to read and see. In fact, I've just published this morning. A quick commentary on all the hullabaloo around a woman called Sydney Sweeney and the nature of beauty, and also make some commentary of why the groups like Hamas were more than prepared to put out images of starving Israeli hostages digging their own graves at the very time the West was complaining about starvation. So anyway, there's a new Substack. Literally, it's been out by an hour or so. Bob, of course, is continuing to do his McBlogs. Go and check that out on substack.com. My latest RCR is actually talking with Margot McVicker. We talk about, it's actually quite a disturbing conversation, so be warned, but it's about the forced organ harvesting that occurs in China. So, pretty heavy stuff, but important, and not as heavy, but a great discussion here with John Stenhoff from Australia. He's supported Billboard Chris, if you know Billboard Chris, and other people, particularly in the Christian space, to stand up for their legal freedoms. So look, there is just no shortage of stuff, guys. I'm going to leave it there because it's coming up to 8 o'clock. I look forward to seeing you all on Thursday morning. To say I've got so much content here in front of me and I probably talk too much. Hey, but I just hope you have a wonderful day. The sun is beginning to shine here, which is amazing. But I look forward to seeing you all on Thursday. And in the meantime, have a great day, a great week ahead. See you Thursday morning.